Welcome to the Block Exploring Podcast, your first step into the world of crypto and blockchain. The Block Exploring Podcast is your one-stop place to find quick, clear, and unbiased information on everything in the crypto space. Our goal is to help you grow familiar with the crypto space by growing along with us as we go on our crypto journeys. Follow @Block Exploring on Twitter for our newest uploads and our publishing schedule. We, here at Block Exploring, are crypto enthusiasts working hard towards becoming experts. Today's podcast is presented by co-hosts Tommy and Elias. Find us on Twitter under @SabaiSquared and @OtokoCrypto. Right now you can find us on Spotify and YouTube. Before we start the episode, we would like to inform you that we are not financial advisors. Therefore, nothing said in this podcast should be considered financial advice. Always contact your financial advisor before making any investment. With that said, sit back and enjoy today's podcast.
Hey Block Explorers, welcome to the Block Exploring Podcast. I'm here, Tommy, with Elias, and very excited for, second episode of the news Byte episodes. And it's been a pretty exciting, week in crypto and blockchain space. So first things off, let's start off with Coinbase, just to continue on from last episode, I suppose. Coinbase had its direct listing on the NASDAQ on last Wednesday, and the listing was pretty crazy. I mean, they reached a market cap of $86 billion, and the stock was really going up, and now it's going down a bit. It's sort of stabilized at a $300-ish level. But I think it's pretty exciting for the crypto space, and we'll just have to see where it goes, because it's really the first of its kind, right? First crypto listing.
That's true. And I think right now it's stabilized out at like $300, right? I think that's a fair price.
Yeah, 336. I mean, it was as high as like 425, I think, dollars. Yeah. I saw. But I guess those employees who've been working there for 10 years, they're going to want to, take some profits. I mean, after working on a project for 10 years, I think I would also want to liquidate some of my efforts, see some of those tangible returns.
Yeah, I think so. Usually they have some sort of clause that prevents them from doing that immediately. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I would definitely want to do that as well if I'd been working on an exchange, especially for that long. I can't imagine what it must be like.
No, yeah, that's pretty insane.
No,
I mean, insane. There have been people who've been working on projects for way longer to see them come to fruition, but 10 years still substantial amount of time, I'd say.
No, definitely. I was on Twitter, and I think I saw the founder of a decentralized exchange tweet, and she said, "Well, this is just the week of the blue coin." That was like her. I thought that was a nice way to summarize it.
Yeah. No, I feel
it really was everywhere.
Yeah, it was very, very hype direct listing, but deservedly so. They deserve the hype, and this is gonna kick off. I think one of those, like the .com boom, where all these companies are suddenly gonna start trying to list themselves publicly, and exchanges like Kraken. I don't know who else, I can't say right now, but I think we're going to see a lot more of those.
Yeah, and you could see the positive effect it had on the prices in the individual crypto prices. Everything, I think, was up. The entire board was green.
Yeah.
And overall just a booming week. I think also there was an increase in prices larger than half the month of March. I believe that was
just in this month, yeah. And we're not even at the end. We still got a substantial amount of April to go, but we've already been seeing just crazy things like the DOGE pump. Do you wanna start talking about that?
The DOGE pump. Let's talk. Yeah, I got to be honest with you. I don't really know why the DOGE pump happened. I just know that there was a merchant, and he started accepting DOGE as a sort of currency, and additionally there was just this big leap from that 6 cent to 5 cent balance that DOGE was sticking by.
Right.
and it just spiked to 25 cents. This is all in euro, by the way. And then, like this afternoon, it just pumped up to 34 cents, 35 cents, and now it's stabilizing again, I think, at 32 cents. And yeah, overall, a crazy time for a token with that little utility, but like basically being a meme token. Going up
Literally doubled.
500%. Yeah,
500, yeah.
500% in 7 days.
Yeah, that's pretty insane. I feel like it doubled its value in 24 hours. You know,
Yeah,
going up to as high as like just under 40 cents, which is pretty mad. It became the 8th largest crypto by market cap, flipping a lot of other cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, just skyrocketed past those.
that's true.
But
Even at 3 p.m.,
yeah,
it was the 5th. At 3 p.m., it was the 5th. The
Really?
5th. I was like, why is this? I was like, why? I didn't know why per se, but that gave me the sentiment that it was for me time to sell that token. Number 5 for a meme token felt like overvalued, in my personal opinion. But at the same time, let the people have their fun.
Yeah, I feel like there's a Dogecoin hype team out there, billionaires Dogecoin hype team who just
Oh
like
yeah,
are very ironic about it, but they just want to see Doge become the number one currency in crypto or something. Like Mark
yeah.
Cuban pumps Doge, like always shouting out Doge. Elon also shouts out Doge on the daily almost. Yeah, I saw a
I
video
think
where he was
I
talking about like, it's pretty ironic that this is a meme coin, but it would be great if it like, became the currency within cryptocurrency. So I think that's what he's about, but who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, I agree. But I think one of the things that is like overlooked in Doge
Mhm.
is not like the token utility or whatever. Doge has no real utility, but it does have one very valuable asset to its name, I think, and that is its supporters base and
Mhm.
how easy it's marketable over the internet. It's one of those entrance level currencies that people just understand, like, oh, it's basically the same thing as a dollar. Is just fiduciary,
Mhm.
it's just not regulated and all the good jazz, but it has that big following of people who are
Mhm.
constantly tweeting about it. I feel I refreshed the latest feed on ticker Doge on Twitter today, and in one refresh there were 40 new tweets.
Mhm.
And that's something most tokens don't have behind their name, which I think gives Doge a lot of value, not per se for justified cause, but just
Mhm.
in general. And that's why I feel like you get these pumps and dumps, because for weeks it can be just silent about Doge or just a few memes.
Mhm.
And then in like one day something happens, one threshold gets crossed, and it's insane, and
Boom.
it just moons for a day. Yeah.
No, you're right. They have such an active subreddit as well. Like the hodl memes there are very strong. Yeah. But one of the drawbacks of Doge is right now people like to say that it's not very decentralized because I feel like there's like 5 people who hold 50% of Doge
Yeah.
in circulation, which Elon has called for them to actually dump, welcomes their dump in order to increase the decentralized aspect of Doge. But
Yeah.
well, we
Who
can't say
knows?
we can't say that would happen, might happen, what could happen, but
No.
maybe he does
But
have
that
that
could
power to never
that could totally crash the price of Doge. In, let's say, all 5 decide to dump it in one go, that would be there would be so much liquidity for an infinite supply token. I feel, right? It's an
Mhm.
infinite supply
I believe
token
so.
to
But
be dumped on that
mm,
big, that massively. That's I don't think you can. You wouldn't want to be on the receiving end,
no, I don't
if you
think
know what
so
I mean.
either. But
No,
if you could buy that dip, that would be pretty juicy. That would be pretty juicy.
that's true.
Hmm.
Yeah,
But that was a nice pump story, for the week. It's dipped a bit, but another in like more negative news, I suppose, for the crypto blockchain space is Turkey's ban of crypto payments. This happened,
yeah,
I believe, yesterday or earlier today. So they banned direct and indirect payments through the use of cryptocurrencies, which yeah, some outlets have said caused a 2% dip in
Yeah.
Bitcoin. How you feel about that, Elias?
I, yeah, I mean, maybe it was caused by it, but I wouldn't call a 2% decrease in Bitcoin price a dip, to be honest.
Yeah,
Um,
like
sure, not great, but
mhm.
it worse has happened for no apparent reason at all.
I feel
Like a
like two
big whale
percent
dumps
happens
Bitcoin.
like during trading activity, like I was explaining earlier, you know.
Yeah,
But yeah, the country's central bank basically published this in a notice earlier, and yeah, because like the Turkish lira has been inflating incredible amount, which has led to a lot of Turkish people gravitating towards cryptocurrencies, and particularly Bitcoin, I believe. So I think this is just Turkey cracking down on that and following in other countries' suit, like India, in trying to ban cryptocurrencies. But this is ultimately just very bad for the Turkish people, essentially not being able to choose what what currencies they're able to pay for goods and services in.
yeah,
Essentially, the government's saying you're too stupid to choose.
yeah. I couldn't agree more. And yeah, when I was looking at the effects this would have on Bitcoin, I
Mhm.
was like, okay, sure, it had that 2% dip today or over the past 2 days. But when you look at more payment oriented tokens like Bitcoin Cash, you saw a bigger dip. You
Right.
saw something like 4%. It went from 740, 750 euros down to 710, 720. And I think that's where the real harm is done, is by banning these kind of fast payment, kind of merchant tokens,
Right.
um, especially linked to Bitcoin and crypto. Something like Bitcoin Cash is the one taking the actual damage from this rather
Mhm.
than per se a Bitcoin. Bitcoin is just a better known version that I feel like gets more clicks that they
Right.
talk about. But I think the focus should be on those tokens because they are the ones whose utility actively gets impeded.
Right. I mean, even if they're not being used actively by Turkish citizens, just the negative news of not being able to use payments actually affects payment focused tokens.
Yeah,
Well, this will definitely, like we discussed last week with India's ban, like people can definitely circumvent this. I mean, no advice. Don't get jailed because it's something you heard on our podcast, but no, you can definitely circumvent this somehow. But yeah, it's just a
that's true.
sad news coming out of Turkey for
Yeah,
cryptocurrencies because citizens are gonna miss out. I mean, there's so much fun happening on this in this space. So much gain, so much opportunity. Also, a lot of loss. If you're taking L's, but at least the ability to participate is like so essential.
yeah, that definitely. And that's what we talked about last week.
Mhm.
You can't ban crypto. It will still
Facts.
continue. You can just make it more difficult.
Hmm.
And yeah, I think that's what's going on. But a lot of bans going on, but I don't think we should fear too much. You can also see that the market is kind of getting insensitive
Hmm.
to these kinds of bans, or maybe it's just this insane of a bull run. Maybe we
Yeah.
are in the mania that we just don't care anymore about any bans. Like the whole world could ban Bitcoin and no one would care anymore. Just continue buying it, But
Probably. I mean, we'd see a big dip for sure. I mean, if a lot like a huge. I mean, India is a huge country. Turkey's also not too small itself, but yeah, I guess if a collective of countries started banning crypto, we might see some massive dips.
yeah,
But
that's what we don't want.
there's just the principles of crypto and blockchain. I feel are just what's gonna make them last. Despite all these cancellations of the space from countries, like people will
Yeah,
learn to, you know, will learn, or there's through these actions, they start to adopt these blockchain principles of decentralized, you know, peer-to-peer systems, for example, because they then, I mean, start to understand the ineffectiveness of centralized institutions.
That's true.
I mean, in many regards, like banks, damn, like banks be clunky. Stock exchanges, like, come on, like when a stock exchange can just, halt your trading, tell you how to use your money, essentially, like people don't care until they have to. Well, it's too late to care. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's they only start caring when, yeah, they can't take out their money or they aren't able to buy the stock because Robinhood said no, or
Yeah.
halted trading. But that's too late. Your money is like stuck. So it's like people will learn, like, slowly, that full custody of your assets is such a valuable thing. Hence why I recently got a hard wallet. Very happy to finally, become my own bank.
Congrats.
Thanks,
Welcome
man.
to the team.
Yeah, a bit late, but I'm here. I've arrived.
We're still early, man. We're still early. That's
Exactly. And
I
that's
saw
what
a tweet about that.
that we're early.
We're early. It was a
Yeah.
guy saying, my wife, she asked me if Bitcoin was still being used to launder drug money, and I said no. And then he said, "Fellas, top not in yet." And I couldn't. I laughed at that, man.
We're early. Yeah.
I felt the same.
I feel like there's a balance. I mean, like, there's just two ends of the spectrum, right? Where there are those where it does feel like it's really, we're so early in this space, but we're also on the verge of mass adoption. And it's just like, then you start realizing how many people there actually are in this world, and like how many people can actually fit on both sides of the spectrum.
Yeah,
Pretty
definitely.
bizarre.
I was in this seminar a while back, and it was a legal seminar, and it was about blockchain, crypto, and Bitcoin. That was the title of the seminar, and one of the first questions that was asked was, "Isn't Bitcoin just a drug transaction platform?" And I was kind of shocked because I figured that people were like that, the awareness was higher. But I guess that's the danger of being in your own kind of crypto bubble. You gotta watch out with that.
That's true. Yeah, you can definitely get stuck, and that's also like might be a really negative thing for people who are actively in the space and like are really drinking the Kool-Aid, and they just don't check themselves, because I mean, everything happens in cycles. Like, crypto has its cycle, stocks have their cycle, the housing market has its cycle. So if you don't check yourself, like, you're gonna get burned. And there's a lot of what's the term? It's not hopium. Is it hopium? Yeah, like a lot of hopium people are smoking right now. But like, you don't want the hopium like at the top, right? You basically want the hopium when you're in the bear market, and yeah, you want to hope for this to go up. But like, when you're having hopium at the top, you don't realize it, and then it's too late.
Yeah. And it's greed, of course. Like, what if I can? You doubled. What if you can quadruple?
Yeah. I mean, that's the problem, right? People always like want more, and it's just like really hard to know those limitations until you get burned. You got to learn.
Yeah. And for the crypto space to actually develop to the level that people want, we need a whole lot more innovation. And I think of course the money that's being pumped into it, that's good, but I think we're just getting started. Like, things like cross-chain aren't even that big of a thing yet.
It's literally just starting. Like, these dApps are slowly starting to make these chains, secondary chains, in order to access different blockchains. It's only just beginning in DeFi, for example.
Yeah, that's what cross-chain is. Just a recap, indeed, the linking between different blockchains in order to perform transactions and exchange information, which is a significant step that should, and I think will be made soon. It's called blockchain 3.0. I think it was what Cosmos termed it that in their white paper, I think.
Okay. I think another way people say is increased interoperability. Interoperability. There we go.
Yeah,
Nailed it. I
that's
think
a nice word.
yeah, definitely something that should be said though is that the market giveth and it taketh. So be careful, block explorers. Don't get wrecked. Don't get
Don't
wrecked
get
out there. You know, listen to our podcast and you'll be straight. You know, this is your first step to not getting wrecked.
Not financial advice.
Also, yeah, disclaimer, disclaimer. All right, so yeah, we're going to talk about this UK hedge fund who's reportedly going to invest 84 million in crypto. Yeah,
84 million.
this firm, One River Digital Asset Management, is going to start, jumping into crypto, balls deep with $84 million, which is pretty insane, that these hedge funds are, coming around and they're going to put some serious money in the space, which I think is going to maybe prolong this bull, cycle, maybe, just maybe. I mean, I hope so. I mean, I only think it can do good things for the space. Ideally, the money and crypto is really all in the hands of individuals and not necessarily tied up with purely investors. But if crypto and blockchain is really going to take that leap into the mainstream, it's going to have to be adopted by everyone, individuals, institutions, governments. And I feel like the individuals are getting there, and slowly institutions and governments are coming around. Some of them, obviously not Turkey, but some governments, like local governments, like in Miami, being soon to be able to pay taxes in Bitcoin. That'd be cool. But
it's true.
Yeah, so there's this one UK hedge fund, but many more. A lot of companies are also buying up Bitcoin and stashing their treasury up with some crypto.
Yeah, I even heard about Grayscale buying up the entire February supply. I think it was Grayscale, maybe it was BlackRock.
Mm-hmm.
They bought up the entire February mined supply of Litecoin.
Wow.
And that is just such a casual investment to make for them.
I know, literally pennies for them to just like drop on these tokens, and they're gonna gain, they're gonna gain massively, I think, from the space, obviously, for these investments. Like Tesla's investments in Bitcoin has already made it, like, is it the biggest company? Or not the biggest, not the biggest company, but it's I know it's definitely made them a lot of money, and it's made Elon Musk the richest man in the world.
Yeah.
So
and it made Tesla more money than actual car sales over the past year.
Damn.
So just their investment made that their biggest profit, I guess.
See, if that doesn't make you bullish on the crypto space, I don't know what will. It turned this man into the richest man in the world, and the company that makes cars is making more off Bitcoin than it is on cars. Block explorers, you better be taking notes. You're in the right space. You're in the right place for gains and for new opportunities. And I think there's a lot to be said about there being more to the crypto and blockchain space than just gains. Like, there's opportunities to really work and build out this technology that can impact so many aspects of people's lives, and just the many use cases of blockchain and crypto are just vast. I mean, just in DeFi we see so many financial experiments going on, and that's just in finance. But me and Elias, of course, we've both talked about, like, the different use cases and how amazing crypto blockchain is, and that's why we are super bullish on the space, right? And we want to actively work in the space and grow our knowledge and become experts in some right, hopefully build a project someday. Yeah, but that's so. If you're I know, like, Ivan on Tech, he always talks about how this is like being getting into internet in the 90s, and it's always like more profit. It's more beneficial for you to start building something in this space, this emerging space, rather than to be an investor, right? Because he likes to talk about how, if you invested in the dot during the dot-com boom, you probably might have made some money. A lot of people lost a lot of money, but people who are in the space and like building projects, building companies, whether your company succeeded at first or not, like that's one thing you might, but the knowledge that you acquired just actively working in the space like is definitely served you, will probably have served you well later on in life.
Yeah.
And I think same applies for blockchain and crypto space. That's why, I mean, I would definitely encourage you to start learning about blockchain on a much deeper level. Like there are loads of courses now on that, like where you can start learning and jump in and like try get a job in the space, that and some places pay super well.
That's true.
I mean,
That's true. I watched the Gemini applications page,
mm-hmm.
and that's the what's the last name again?
Winklevoss twins, the
Winklevoss.
Winklevoss
Yeah,
twins. Yeah,
that's their startup. And man, they seem to have their finances in order.
yeah, they're big exchange now. Yeah, they have a lot of things going on for them. But just like these DAOs and all these DeFi apps, like they have huge treasuries to be able to actually hire people and pay them well for their services. And yeah, you might be afraid like of working in a space during the bear markets, and what's that going to be like. But building out emerging technologies is a grind, I imagine, I believe.
Yeah.
I can't talk about from firsthand experience. I haven't actively worked in the crypto blockchain space through a bear market, but I feel like to reap the rewards of a bull market, you're gonna reap the most if you're sticking through it through a bear market. And if you're building and hustling through a bear market, bull market's gonna be immense. Now we're in the midst of a bull market, but the people who've gained the most are those people who've been hodling since it crashed. In 2017.
Those are also the people with the least risk right now, I think.
Exactly. All these people, who've just invested and are stressing because they're looking at the chart all the time. If you're there, if you bought major dips during the bear market, you're chilling. You're like, you've made gains. You've probably bought a new house, a new Lambo, a lot of things, right? Like, so it's just, I feel like there's there's this analogy of being a tourist and a local. Is it resident?
Yeah.
A resident, let's say. Yeah, right. So you got to ask yourself whether you just want to be in the space for a short period of time, in and out, like a tourist, or do you want to be a resident who's sticking it out through good and bad times? And history shows that being a resident in the crypto space is highly beneficial, highly profitable.
Yeah.
Hence why me and Elias are gonna be residents. We are setting up our tent in the crypto blockchain space and figuring it out.
Exactly. And hopefully push through that bear market.
Yeah. Bear market's gonna be pain, but we just gotta. I feel like I've become a bit desensitized to a lot of things in the past year through Corona times and all that. So I mean, now in the stock market, 20% dips are just your everyday. Okay, you get like 20% dip is like, guys, who's stressing over 20% anymore? Whilst like a year ago or 2 years ago, 20% would have like warranted a real deep reevaluation of your investment strategy, quite frankly. But now this is just so casual. I mean, whether that's good or bad, you just gotta deal with it.
Exactly. Have those what do they call it? Have those diamond hands.
Hold
on to those projects.
Yes, diamond hands.
Not, of course, blindly. Mm-hmm. But if you feel like a project has again, not financial advice. Yeah. If you feel like a project does have potential within this bull cycle, within reason, stick with it.
Yeah, do your research and stick to your conviction. I think That's the best policy, because people will always say whatever, on either side of what your position is, good or bad, but it really doesn't matter as long as you stick to what you believe in, because no one knows. No one can predict anything. I mean, quite frankly, you can do as much technical analysis as you want, but like, some news can come out and it just, changes. It's like, oh, well, okay, that's just how it is, right? Like, we're all speculators. We're all in this, volatile market.
Yeah. It's not a laboratory, There's so much external influence. You got to watch out with that.
I know, but be careful, people. Don't be taking risks you can't take. Like, not fine. I don't know what is even reasonable financial advice. Nothing is financial advice, but like, it's always a good policy to not invest money that you can't lose, right? You should only be investing money that you're willing to lose, and I feel like that's a general rule of thumb. Don't take it as financial advice, but it's pretty good. I don't know. I've heard so many people say that, so I feel like this is just like common law.
Yeah, common law
at this point. And
that's true.
Well, yeah, it's been a exciting week, in crypto blockchain space yet again, and we're probably gonna have another exciting week next week, I'm sure. Even during bear markets, we'll have exciting weeks, and you'll definitely see episodes from us during a bear market. So we'll be here if you stick around, and if you don't, we'll always be here whenever you come back.
Exactly.
But now that you're ingratiated block explorers, we'll hope you're in it to win it like we are. And we'll see you next episode.
Yes, see you next episode.
Take it easy, block explorers.